Welcome to your next fact of the day, everyone. And do you know what these funny looking things are? They look kind of like sort of bullets or little spears or something. What on earth are these? Well, a good few weeks ago, Charlie put a picture up. He found one of these. In fact, I think he's found lots of them on the beach. But do you remember what they are? Well, incredibly well done if you'd said Belemnites. These are Belemnites. But what on earth are Belemnites? Well, I didn't have a clue. I'd never heard of them, but I was inspired. I wanted to find out more. I wanted to learn more about Belemnites. And I really wanted to know what they would have looked like. What would they have looked like? Because it was an ancient creature and it's extinct. What does extinct mean? Means they're not alive today. There's none left. Let's have a look at what I found out. This is what a belemnite would have looked like. It was a creature that looked a lot like a squid that would have swam round in the depths of the ocean. So very, very cool. And it even had its own sort of squid ink kind of defense mechanism and that sort of thing. So very, very cool. So I found out what they looked like, but still doesn't look anything like that. So what's going on here? Well, I dug a little deeper, and here we have a picture with kind of a see-through picture here, and right here you can see this spear looking thing called the guard. And this you can think of like the squid. It would have been like the Belemnites skeleton in a way. So it held its shape. You imagine if we didn't have any bones, we would just be a big squidgy mess. And it was kind of the same with the Belemites. So that is kind of like its skeleton that holds it up. If you have a look at this picture, the guard, the bit that Charlie found, would have been right in here, holding the shape of its. Well, it kind of looks like its nose, doesn't it? So that explains that. Over the years, then all these technicals and that would have disappeared and just left the hard sort of bone uh, behind. That's that fossil. So that's very cool. I wanted to find out more though. More. What was life like for Belemnites? What else was in the oceans at this time? How long ago did they live? Well, we have to go back a long way. These guys have been around a long time. And I've got our ancient map up again. And the first Belemnites started to appear in the oceans 400, 400 million years ago. An incredibly long time ago. And do you remember? Now, Earth looks very different, and that's because it's like on a big crust and it's all moving. So if I just go back and I'll show you, I talked about this on Pangea, on the fact of the day about Pangea. All these continents are slowly moving the same rate that your fingernail grows. So over millions of years, Africa, for example, can move a long way. So over 400 million years, the Earth's going to look totally different. And this red dot shows where Brora is. So this, when the first Belemnites came into existence in the oceans, this is the world they would have known. And 400 million years ago was actually known as the Age of Fish. It's got a fancy name called the Devonian period. The Devonian period. And yeah, it's known as the Age of Fish because this is when basically fish were the top predators, the rulers. There wasn't a lot on land. There was some plants and insects and stuff, but the big, big animals were all in the ocean. The Age of Fish. But let's say you had a time machine and you wanted to go back and sort of guarantee yourself to see a Belemnite. Well, most of them were about much later on in what's called the Mesozoic era. Sorry, Mesozoic era. From about 250 million years ago to 65 million years ago. And that is known, don't worry about that terms, but that is known as the age of dinosaurs. And that, let's just go roughly in the middle. This is how the world would have looked for the dinosaurs. and that is known as the age of reptiles. So anything between, if you went back in time anywhere between 250 million years ago to 65 million years ago, you would enter the age of reptiles, or the age of dinosaurs, where reptiles ruled. No, not fish anymore. Fish didn't rule the oceans, reptiles did. So this would have been very familiar to the Belemnites. And look at the size of the ocean. I mean, this is bigger than the Pacific. I mean, look, it's so big. This is actually Pangea starting to break apart now, and slowly things will start. I mean, look, we can make out Britain there, and here's sort of Africa and South America. So everything's starting to break apart again, and there would have been dinosaurs roaming about. So you just think about, if Charlie's gone down and he's found his Belemnite, or you go down and find a Belemnite on the beach, that fossil you're holding could very well have been around the same time as T-Rex, or any dinosaur you can think of, really. So how cool is that? That is such a cool thought. So something else I really wanted to find out, what other creatures were lurking in the depths of the ancient oceans at the same time as the Belemnites? Well, get ready to see some cool things. I'll go forward a bit. What else? What would these guys have been swimming in with? So when they first started coming into the world around 400 million years ago, during the age of fish, they would have had to deal with this. Dunkleosteus. I think that's how you pronounce it. I've heard many different ways, but look at that. A giant armored fish. It's got its own armor and terrifying looking teeth. So imagine being a little Belemnite squid and seeing that come towards you. Wow. Just to give you an idea of how big this thing is, there is a picture of it next to a adult. So they were huge, these giant armored fish. This was during the age of fish. Now let's move on to the age of reptiles. So between 250 million years ago to 65 million years ago, at the time of the dinosaurs, so when T-Rex was kicking about on land, what was in the ocean swimming around with the Belemnites? Well, we've got the Ichthyosaurus. Wow. And they've actually proven that they used to hunt Belemnites. They've found fossil remains in their stomachs, with inside the Ichthyosaurus. So very cool. So that would have actually hunted our little Belemnite squid-looking things. So very cool. Let's move on to something else. What else was in the sea? A Mosasaurus. Wow. Now, this is the very same one that you would have seen on Jurassic World, if you've happened to see that. Huge creature of the sea. Definitely stay away from this guy. And the thing to remember is this isn't a fish. The Ichthyosaurus isn't a fish. They're reptiles. This was the age of reptiles. These both are reptiles. If you think about it now, we are actually in the age of mammals. So it's mammals. Think of a blue whale. That's a mammal. That's the biggest thing that's ever lived. Lions, tigers, elephants, us, the dominant species on the planet, all mammals. This is the age of mammals. But this was the age of reptiles. But it wasn't all terrifying. Big creatures with teeth. Sea turtles. This is when you would have started seeing the first sea turtles. So that's very cool as well. But as I said earlier, Belemnites, all we see of them now are the fossils of their old guards. They're all kind of skeletons. But why did they become extinct? Well, I'll give you a clue. They became extinct 65 million years ago. What else became extinct then? That's right, the dinosaurs. With this, a big, giant, 6-mile wide meteor crashed into the Earth, and it sent billions and billions of tons of dust into the atmosphere that created a big cloud around the Earth, blotting out the sun, cooling temperatures, plants died, every dinosaur almost all these reptiles that were in the sea, they all died, and the age of reptiles was over, and the age of mammals soon began after that. So the Belemnites did not survive this either. This was the last of them in the oceans, and all we have left of them are these little fossils that get washed up on the beach for us to find. Okay, well, there you go. I hope you enjoyed that, learning about the Belemnites. I certainly did. It was a lot of fun, and I learned a lot. Okay, see you next time. Bye.